we're getting a new Fire Pro game in just a matter of days. I mean a real Fire Pro game, not the Xbox 360 monstrosity from a few years ago that we will never speak of again. On the one hand, it's really surprising, since it's technically been 12 years since the last real Fire Pro game. But on the other, we're living in an age of reboots. We're constantly seeing video game remakes and updates for long moribund franchises like DuckTales, Crash Bandicoot, Bubsy of all things, and even cult games like Wild Guns. Still, this one was a big surprise. So with the return of the franchise, I thought we'd take a look at Fire Pro Returns, the last big release in the series. And yes, we're skipping a lot of games here, but Returns is a Fire Pro game most people have played, and an important touchstone as we head into the next entry. If you ever came to my place to play video games, and you should, let's hang out sometime, you would notice that my PlayStation 2 has a flip top, while the normal variety has an extending tray for putting in discs. That's because I modded my system so I could import Fire Pro Returns after it was released in Japan in 2005, only to find out it would get translated and released as a budget title in the US 2 years later. Oops. By the way, let's compare the two covers. The Japan release has a cool, sparse design, while the US version has Kmart Lex Luger taking on some random luchador. I suppose it conveys that this is a wrestling title better than its counterpart, but it makes the game look like a budget title, which I guess it was, but only in price, certainly not quality. Like other games in the series, the focus here is on Japanese wrestling, as the rosters are based on real wrestlers, representing groups like All Japan, New Japan, Noah, Zero One, even smaller groups like DDT, at least at the time, Michinoku Pro, and Osaka Pro. Don't like men's Japanese wrestling? Well, here's a section of Joshi wrestlers. And there's some luchadors. Also a collection of MMA fighters. And somehow a collection of US wrestlers like Kevin Nash, Scott Hall, and AJ Styles. In total, there are over 300 wrestlers in the game, so you're going to find someone you enjoy playing as. As I said, the wrestlers look like themselves and have the proper movesets, but with mildly changed names, all which are easily edited. But the names are so amusing, it's tempting to leave them as they are. For example, Bret Hart is in the game as Blood Love, Shima's here as Zima, and Mirko Cro Cop is Cyborg Police, which he should change his name to immediately. But my favorite is former Zero One wrestler Matt Ghaffari, who got translated to Baz Safari. You know, like someone was attacked by giraffes. Even if none of the above interests you, the famous Fire Pro Deep as the Grand Canyon Creator Wrestler mode is here. To me, it's almost too deep in a way, because it doesn't lend itself to just messing around and seeing what you can come up with, like with WrestleMania 2000 or No Mercy. But now we have the added bonus so you could go online and download packs of wrestlers and put them on your PS2 with a thumb drive and the Action Replay Max. I downloaded packs of Ring of Honor, Chikara, TNA, and 80s and 90s WWF. One of the packs I downloaded featured wrestlers depicted in a 16-bit style, which was a little odd, but hey, points for effort. Overall, there are 500 creator wrestler slots, so you could feasibly have over 800 wrestlers in your game. As far as gameplay, it's Fire Pro. You have an isometric view of the ring, and grappling is based around timing lockups and using weak, medium, and strong grapples. There are some new tweaks, like a new corner to center move some wrestlers have, but basically, if you only played Super Fire Pro Premium X for the SNES and then played this, you wouldn't have any problems. And you know what? That's okay. Fire Pro has one of the best approaches to wrestling ever, and changing that, even in the name of innovation, would be a huge mistake. The game is still in 2D, but the wrestlers are nicely detailed, and the moves are smoothly animated. The crowd's in 3D, which is a little jarring, but how the crowd looks is pretty far down on my list of concerns. And the 2D is actually an advantage, as you're able to have 8 wrestlers on the screen at once, meaning you can do legitimate 4-on-4 elimination matches, or my favorite mode, the Battle Royal, which is just total chaos with 8 wrestlers in the ring at the same time. Best of all is when you set critical to high and the ring looks like a Civil War battlefield by the end. The death matches like Light Tube and Barbed Wire are here, as well as shoot fights and now cage matches, so the possibilities are near endless. Put Madman Pondo in the Octagon. See how Lou Thez does with a Light Tube. It's a game you can literally never get bored with. And if all that wasn't enough, the game also has a matchmaker mode, where you can choose a Fed and arena and book your own card and see how it plays out. I honestly never tried this before this review, as I've never been big on simulating matches. I always prefer to play my video games instead of watching them, but damn if this isn't addicting. Granted, if you don't know a lot about Japanese wrestling circa 2005, you won't get a lot out of this. For me, I tried running an All Japan show in Budokan Hall, and had my 2 opening matches go to 30-minute draws, and then my main event went 8 minutes in total. But hey, we sold out, so who cares? There's not a lot more to add. It's the ultimate version of Fire Pro and one of the best wrestling games ever. No joke, it's a must for your collection. And thankfully, you can find it reasonably priced on eBay or in the PlayStation Store. I know there's a new version coming out, but this one comes with so many pre-made wrestlers you need to play it. As we approach the release date of Fire Pro World, I may as well toss in some thoughts on what we've seen and my hopes for the game. On the positive side, this is a Fire Pro game. It's 2D and the grappling system remains intact. But they added some new tweaks like a strike exchange and stealing moves once per match. Online play is a feature for the first time, and creations can be easily shared. So hopefully we'll be able to easily download the current New Japan roster with just a few keystrokes. And Spike has stated there will be virtually unlimited amount of creator wrestler slots, so that means 1 billion, I guess? My only concern is movesets. They said they were going to add upwards of 100 new moves, including a Rainmaker and the One-Winged Angel. And that would normally be great, but the last Fire Pro game came out a dozen years ago. Think of all the new moves that have been created in that time, and suddenly 100 doesn't seem like so many. And for me, the moves are always the most important part of a creator wrestler. I can live with a wrestler who doesn't look perfect, but when your creator wrestler just doesn't have the right moveset, it feels wrong. Remember when Kurt Angle debuted right after WrestleMania 2000, and you had to use a Samoan drop or mountain bomb as his finish for your creator wrestler, and it just wasn't right? Kushida just added the small package driver to his repertoire, and Seth Rollins is using the ripcord knee to the head deal, which is dumb, but still. An outright creator move feature is probably just a pipe dream at this point in time, but my hope is Spike will regularly release certain moves like we saw for Fire Pro D, or certain enterprising individuals on Steam will somehow be able to create their own moves. But even if they can't, we're still getting an update on one of the best wrestling games of all time. The game looks like it's been made by people who care, and given we haven't had a pure Japanese wrestling game released in forever, this is really the closest we're going to get, and I could not be more excited. Well, till next time, thanks for watching, and remember, the winner is you.
We are waiting to pass on anytime. We are Jenny Malcolm, yeah. We will not lose by any means. Who are partners, yeah.